Hello and welcome back to the Battle Room. My name is, of course, the Battle Room, and today we are joined by a bunch of teams that were in the top 100 in the most recent season of Pokemon Champions. Now, this is a Japanese website that is run by the people at Liberty Note who collect all these teams. People can submit them, other people can submit them as well, and they have a lot of teams on here, but I also decided to spend my morning just scrolling Twitter trying to find more of them because this wasn't enough. I needed more, so I found about 10 more. I'll link this website down below. Obviously, huge shout out to Liberty Note for gathering these. I'm sure as time will go on, like if you click on this video or click on this link later after the video is posted, you can probably see even more teams. It's also just a great resource. You have a bunch of different teams here, like from last season or the Japanese nationals, right? There's just a lot of cool tournaments that they do keep track of all the teams from. So without further ado, let's hop into some teams and check out what everyone's using to achieve the highest ranks in Pokemon Champions. You guys gotta help me. I'm trapped in Pokeball tier in both singles and doubles. The only way to get me out of Pokeball tier is to subscribe to the Battle Room on YouTube, of course. It could also involve playing, but I'm not too sure. We're gonna have to find out soon. So the first team we're gonna talk about is, of course, Jude's team. For those who do not know, Jude is the fiercest ladder warrior in all of the land. I don't think there's a time when he's not playing Pokemon Champions or Pokemon Showdown. He is always laddering. So that's just who Jude is. That's how he is. And it's no surprise to see him here on #1 on ladder. He consistently gets #1 on Showdown. So why not get #1 on Pokemon Champions? So this team is really interesting because it's actually a Mega Garchomp and a Mega Floette team. Physical Mega Garchomp, by the way. But with no sand, it's just saying, hey, I think Garchomp is a good Pokemon. I think that he's good without his Mega. But I also think in certain situations with coaching, he can just solo teams. And I think that's what Jude does here. It has two very distinct modes that blend really well together, right? We have Coaching Sneasler to enable both Mega Garchomp and King Gambit. So we just turn 1, set up the coaching, or you fake out, attack, and then turn 2, you set up the coaching. But the idea is to get a coaching off. And then they're juiced up, they're ready to go. And then you have Incineroar and Sinistra in the back to potentially enable either King Gambit or the Garchomp to go the distance versus you, right? Like, they're able to get healed, get that Intimidate, and just continuously put on that damage. Especially Garchomp has a lot of high stats, so giving him the coaching boost and then enabling him with the healing and the support does make a lot of sense. He kind of functions like the Floette, and obviously you're a little bit more deterred to bring something like Incineroar because they do have a King Gambit, and you can do the same thing with King Gambit. You can coach him up, heal him, fake out for him, and just let him sweep the game. But then we also have the Floette mode. It's a timid Floette paired with both Incin and Cinny. It's a tail as old as time. You know what it does. You fake out, you Calm Mind, and then you spam your fairy moves, right? I do believe he is Draining Kiss to just keep it alive longer. But yeah, this is just a team he's been using for forever at this point. It's very, very cool. But yeah, I totally intend to make a video on this one tomorrow. So if you're interested in this team, check back tomorrow and there will be a video on it. And then in second place, we don't have much information on this one, but one can only imagine. This is a Trick Room-ish Aegislash team. I don't know what Aegislash is doing whatsoever. Staraptor obviously is very strong. We have a clear Torkoal Trick Room mode here with Ferrograph, Torkoal, Basculegion. It makes sense, right? You have Life Orb Sneasler as well to pair with the Ferrograph. I think Ferrograph Sneasler is a very, very good lead, especially in closed sheet. You don't know what they're going to do. Is it Iron Ball? Is it not? Life Orb obviously does a ton of damage. You can just fake out Trick Room if you want, but you could also just Helping Hand and just start sweeping with presumably Rock Slide Sneasler. Let's be real. And then in Trick Room, you have Torkoal and Basculegion to just clean up and just take control of the game. But then you have a Staraptor as well, who considers, like, outside of Trick Room, we have Staraptor, Sneasler, Aegislash, right? Again, it is White Herb Aegislash, so you have to assume it's physical, but I don't know, man. I don't know what the Aegislash does. If I had to guess, it's probably just like CC, Iron Head, Shadow Sneak Protect maybe, or King Shield, sorry, but I don't know. I do think these types of teams tend to be very strong on the ladder. I see them all the time, especially like Sneasler Ferrograph, like I mentioned earlier. It's just a really good lead. Helping Hand, anything is scary. And then you just don't know what the Sneasler's doing. You don't know when Trick Room's going up. So the Sneasler player has all of the control of the game, and you're just kind of reacting to what they're doing and preventing maybe plays they're not even going for, right? Like if I'm doubling into Ferrograph and they're like, hey, I don't even want to set up Trick Room, I'm just going to protect. That's annoying. That's hard to deal with, and they can just take the lead over you, right? But yeah, Mega Staraptor, Second place is pretty cool. We have Mega Garchomp, Mega Staraptor, pretty crazy. But I think, you know, Staraptor's been rising. I also think Staraptor fits well with these types of teams because, like, I mean, on this team, a little bit less so because it is the only Mega, so you can safely assume it's a Mega. But at the same time, it could have U-Turn, it could have Final Gambit of its own. You really don't know. And that's the scary part about something like a closed sheet Staraptor, right? Unfortunately, they didn't share any of the team information with us, but we do know these were the 6 that they used with the items. I think it's pretty easy to infer. I'd imagine this is Rockslide. I imagine this is just CC Brave Bird, Helping Hand, Trick Room, all fire moves, standard stash Basculegion. This guy is the tricky one, but again, White Herb tells us that it's probably something of the sorts of CC, Ironhead, or Poltergeist, sorry, Poltergeist, CC, Ironhead, Shadow Sneak, Protect, or King Shield. So I imagine that's what it is. I don't know what he's there for. He's kind of cool. Aegislash is a Pokemon that people are not prepping for anymore, so it is kind of a cool addition to the team to put him there. And then in third place here, we have one of my favorite players in Ko. Ko consistently this year has been one of the most dominant players internationally and also in Japan. He has just consistently put up amazing finish after amazing finish. He started out last year with top 8 at the World Championships, and he top cut, I believe. He didn't top cut NAIC. I don't even know if he went to NAIC, but he top cut Japan Nets this year and top cut EUIC as well. So he's had an incredible season, and I think he's someone that, dare I say, will make a splash at Worlds. And he used something kind of weird. He also decided to share his whole team. He finished 3rd place, and he's just using, okay, this team is not weird, but to me it's weird to see because I kind of felt like it was slowly getting pushed further and further out of the metagame. But here we have it once again. We do have the, just like bar for bar, the standard version of this team, right? Rock Slide, Dual Wing Beat, Tailwind, Ice Fang, Aerodactyl, No Protect, King Gambit, Furgraph for the Trick Room mode, Sylveon with Hyper Beam Quick Attack, standard Charizard, and then a standard double ground move Garchomp. This is just the base version of this team, and Ko went nuts. He even included all of the spreads, which is nothing too surprising here. Physically defensive Sylveon, obviously max speed, fast Garchomp. The Charizard has a little bit of speed on it and a little bit of special attack. It's actually kind of stronger than most of the Charizards we're seeing. So that's kind of a cool thing. And also modest Farigiraf, which I thought was pretty crazy. But at the same time, like, you kind of live the hits anyways. Farigiraf is very naturally bulky, so I wonder what the modest is for. Physically bulky Sylveon, max speed Sash King Gambit, and then of course a pretty fast and aggressive Aerodactyl. But yeah, using this team in the big 2026 in August, kind of crazy to me because I did think that, like, so this was the team I used at NAIC and I loved it, right? And I was using it very early on in Regulation MB, but I just kind of found that, like, a lot of the new teams, like the new Venusaur, the new Sunrain, these types of teams just kind of engineered themselves to have a good matchup into this team because this was the known team and those teams were being built and they were new. So I felt like this team has a big weakness to Venusaur. I think it sucks into stuff like Archaludon Rain, like with Charizard. I think it could be really, really difficult. But Ko said, dude, I don't want to hear it, man. This team is just broken and I'm just going to continue running it. So congrats to Ko for getting 3rd, and dude, he is someone to watch for at Worlds. And then next up here, we don't have much information, but we have both number 24 and number 4. Crazy that they put the 24 second. Also crazy that they grinded for Champions Tier. Oh, it's twice. It's, oh, they're upside down question mark, and they are also washy. Okay, so this is just that Frostlass Sneasler Basculegion team. This is the team that Alex Underhill used to top 8 the Indie Regionals, and I don't know. It's kind of crazy to me to see it still, like with Mega Dragonite and Mega Frostlass still intact. Obviously, the meta has changed a lot since then, but the last 2 teams, the 1st place team and the 3rd place team that we saw, were what was the 2nd place team? Did I skip that one? Oh yeah, that team was new. But the 1st and 3rd place team were both teams that were built in Regulation MA. So why can't Regulation MA teams continue to prosper? Frostlass, Sash, Sneasler, Basculegion, Dragonite, Garchomp, and King Gambit. Now, there are some updates from the Underhill version, we have Sash Sneasler, Mystic Water Basculegion, and then defensive berries on both Garchomp and Kingambit, which I think do change the way the team is played completely. But I think Frostlass is in a pretty decent spot. I think changing the weather is very, very powerful. I think Frostlass is still a good Pokemon. You just need to put a lot of pressure onto enemy Charizards, of course. That's why you have the Mega Dragonite, who can shine in that matchup. Sneasler Dragonite is disgusting. Garchomp Kingambit is still a really, really good combo. Like Sneasler, Frostlass, Kingambit is such a godlike core that it was kind of surprising to me that no one is really experimenting with it in Regulation MB, because it was so good in Regulation MA. But I do think Charizard has started to shine. But now that we're seeing a lot of stuff like Staraptor, I think Frostlass is getting better. Sunrain, Staraptor, I think those teams are super annoyed by Frostlass. So I don't know. I'm kind of... Frostlass could be on the climb back up. This, again, is the 4th place team. Roselia Berry Garchomp makes sense. So does Troll Kingambit. It's just kind of like a balancy Frostlass team. I think Sneasler obviously would run White Herb in the past, but now that we're in this new format with Life Orb Garchomp, I think Sash is just better if it's available. So cool team. Cool team. Congrats to them for getting top 4. And then in 5th place, we have Suika, who is just using... So they did just use this team to get... 2nd place, I believe. 2nd place in the most recent Victory Road. And they just kept laddering and they got themselves 4th place in the online ladder. Suika is also a complete and absolute ladder demon. Suika is very, very good at laddering. He consistently is at the top and he does play usually at the highest level. I think he's a really good builder, really good player. And this is just kind of that standard team that's been going around. We actually did make a guide video on how to use it this week. If you're more interested in this team, I did make a video. You can go check that out. But his version has one big difference that I think is very cool, and that's Encore instead of Focus Blast on this Mega Raichu here. You'll notice it has 3 normal moves. It's Fake Out, Encore, Protect, and Zap Cannon. Obviously, Zap Cannon is your key move on Raichu to slow things down. It's very, very good. But Encore is really cool because if they lead Raichu, come on, let's be real. We've all seen Raichu on the enemy side and we go, okay, I'm not dealing with this guy. I'm double protecting, right? I'm pressing protect, and we're going to call it a day, right? But Encore is such a good punish, especially in a closed team sheet environment. It just seems kind of genius. And obviously, it worked really, really well in open sheet best of 3 as well. Suika again was able to get 2nd with this team. So a very, very cool tech. Otherwise, we have the standard guys here. We have Tailwind Staraptor with Dual Wing Beat, Close Combat Protect. Furgraph is going to be Psychic Helping Hand, Trick Room Protect. Furgraph gives you this Trick Room mode with these boys, but also can help enable the faster Pokemon like Harkonine and Staraptor. Sylveon is going to be the Hyper Voice Hyper Beam set with Quick Attack. It's obviously enabled both in Trick Room and in Tailwind. And Kingambit is going to be Swords Dance because it pairs so well with Staraptor, or with Raichu, sorry, that you're able to potentially just set up in anything's face and just press Fake Out, Swords Dance, and just start sucker punching like crazy with your buddy Raichu. Raichu also enables the entire team with Zap Cannons. It can slow things down for Harkonine, for Sylveon, for Kingambit. And then, yeah, again, it has that Encore utility move. And then this guy is just a Nuclear Bomb. He's very scary. He hits really hard. So, yeah, I think this team is very, very good. No surprise here to see Suika use it because he has been using it in the past. And then we have Big 6 here in 6th place. They did not share a code or a open sheet, but we do have one coming, so don't you worry. We'll have a Big 6 for you guys to use. But one of the trends we've been noticing is that actually the Big 6 have been really, really liking bulky Citrus Berry Garchomp. Obviously, the Floette, Whimsicott, and Charizard are all pretty much bread and butter. They're pretty boring, but there is a rise of Ancient Power Charizard. Write that down. That's something that you need to note, that Ancient Power Charizard does exist on Big 6. It can. I don't know if this one has Ancient Power, for example. Some people do enjoy not using Ancient Power still. They still like Solar Beam, but it is something to watch out for. Bulky Citrus Garchomp is just really, really good. It's able to survive those Life Orb Dragon Claws, fire back with a Dragon Claw of your own, and it's just this really bulky pivot. Into enemy Garchomps. Being bulky is just a good thing. Like, Garchomp is a naturally bulky Pokemon. We're like following a curve, right? At the beginning of the format, it was all bulky Garchomps, right? Like when we first got Pokemon Champions, bulky Garchomp, he was here, right? And now it's like, oh shit, we need to be faster. So the curve, the speed curve has just been going up, right? And then I would say at the first regional, in North America at least, all the Garchomps were max speed. it's just kind of what you had to do. And then obviously Life Orb came out in Regulation MB. Boom, more really fast Garchomps, and then now we're slowly declining into maybe bulky Garchomp is so back, right? Maybe for Worlds that is the play. For whatever reason, Worlds tends to be a bulkier event. Usually in the past, it's historically been known for people bulking down and running more defensive EVs. So I think maybe that is just the case. And then, of course, Triple Berry King Gambit is obviously good. And then if you don't have a Life Orb and Garchomp, slap that guy in Basque Legion. It just upsets a lot of the calcs. I am a big fan of Life Orb Basque. I think it's very, very strong. So even though we don't have their moves, it's pretty easy to figure out what's going on there. And then in 7th place, we have... would you guess it, Big Six once again, with basically everything that the last guy had. So if you like that team, here's a code and all of their spreads. So we can take a closer look here. But again, like I mentioned, it's just going to be the Moonblast, Tailwind, Encore, Protect, Whimsicott, 3 fairy moves, Floette with Protect. The big thing is to check the Floette's nature, which is going to be max speed Timid. Important to note, a lot of people do run Timid, but there are some Modest as well. It's a preference thing. But this one's going to be max speed Timid, very, very good in the mirror specifically to outspeed the enemy Garchomps. And then, or like at least speed tie them, right? If you speed tie, you do just get to take the KO onto the enemy Garchomp if you win the speed tie, so it is actually very, very nuts. And then of course we have Charizard as well. Nothing really changes with this guy. He is always just going to usually be this one's actually not modest, this one's actually bold, which is pretty crazy. I was going to say they're always modest, but this one's going to be bold Charizard, which is actually pretty sick. Just to take those rock slides better. Again, we're getting closer and closer to Worlds, bulk down time, right? That's a cool tech option though, and a cool choice, just because again you expect it to die to stuff like Life Orb, Brave Crash, but what if he could live? But again, he has the standard moveset, and Charizard does just hit like a nuke, so running bold really isn't a big deal. We have 4 attack King Gambit with Chople Berry. You'll also notice that this one is really special defense boosted, like it's max special defense, max HP, so this one is designed to live Light of Rune from Floette and then fight back with an Iron Head, which is very, very cool. This is something that I ran at Indy that I loved. King Gambit, or not King Gambit, Basque Legion is going to be Life Orb here, and he's actually going to be trained very bulky. He's trying to live both a Sucker Punch and a low-powered Solar Beam, and then as much attack as you can muster. This one is very slow, but I think that's okay. You're just trying to be as bulky as possible so you can live a hit and then just fight back, right? Like, this guy is all about trading, and so being, like, having to live those key hits is very, very important. And then, of course, the bulky Citrus Garchomp that I've been mentioning, yeah, it just lives a Dragon Claw from a Life Orb Garchomp and then can fight back as best as it can, and it's going to be as fast as it possibly can with this bulk. So next up we have Kinigawa. Kinigawa is the Japanese national champion from last year and also the LAIC champion from this year. So he just got 4th place, or what is it, 8th place, and showed us that he got 8th, but did not show his team. So we have no new information there. And then we have Zine finishing 22nd. Zine is not sharing anything here. He's just saying, hey, I'm playing Big Six. Nothing too crazy. Still showing the moves though. We have the bulky Citrus, well, we have Citrus Berry Garchomp, which we can assume to be bulky. And then we have double ground move, which is kind of weird on Big Six. But I do think like Big Six is really interesting in the fact that when it comes to the ground move, Earthquake sucks. Like, it doesn't suck because it's the best move in the game, right? Like, Earthquake is one of the moves. I could talk about Earthquake. I could make a video for like an hour talking about Earthquake. I love this move. I think it's so awesome. The drawbacks are so perfect. It's so fun. It's so strong. It's just a good move, right? It's very boring, but it's a good move. But what's interesting about Big Six is if you ever go the Floette mode, and Garchomp is like one of the best parts of Big Six, so I've been told and what I've experienced, right? He's a very good Pokemon. But if you go the Floette mode, you don't have any Earthquake partners. The only Earthquake partner on the team is Charizard. This team isn't really built around Garchomp spamming Earthquake. It's built around using the best guys. So sometimes I've seen a lot of the Big Six teams run Stomping Tantrum, no Earthquake. But at the same time, it's like, dude, I want to lead Charizard Garchomp, press Earthquake Heat Wave. You know what I mean? So Zine here is saying, I want to do that, but I also want to press Stomping Tantrum when I'm next to my Floette. So I think it's a pretty cool option to meet in the middle there. Rock Slide is still going to be more important than Dragon Claw. You're just saying, hey, I can't hit dragons, but I have double fairies. Like, it's not a big deal. It's a cool choice that he's decided to make. We're also seeing, I think that might be helping hand Charizard, which is pretty nuts. No Iron Head on King Gambit. He's saying, I'm going to beat enemy Floettes with my Charizard, with my Basque. Floette is going to be that normal Floette set, normal Whimsicott, and then the Life Orb Basculegion. So nothing too crazy from Zine, but he does have some key choices that do kind of, you know, make his team a little bit different than the normal team, right? Zine is obviously a world champion. He is going to be threat at the world championship, so it's very exciting to see what he's considering using. Next up, we have Meluka with the Star Fox team. This team picked up a lot of traction. It did do very, very well on Victory Road. It's a team that a lot of people are using, a lot of people are talking about. Delphox is here to potentially set up substitutes or encores. It pairs really, really well with the Akaberry Whimsicott. The Whimsicott is a support set using Light Screen, Charm, Tailwind to enable Staraptor. It has no Protect, it has no Encore. It does have Moonblast as its last move. Usually, this is like the standard version. Obviously, Meluka could have made changes. Delphox is going to be Heat Wave, Psychic, Encore, or Substitute. You could run something else, but it's usually not a setup set. And then it's Sash Glamora with the Stabs, EP, Spiky Shield. King Gambit is going to be 4 attacks, and then it's going to be Scarf Garchomp because Scarf Garchomp plays really well with either Mega it's standing next to. So I think this is a really, really solid team. Yeah, it's just good. It's just a very good team. I think we're going to see a lot of it. It's definitely one of those archetypes that's here to stay. This guy got 29th, but didn't share his team, so we don't care. And then this guy got 30th and shared that he had a Charizard, so whatever. This guy was using a Floette Aerodactyl team. Aerodactyl has just been, I don't know, he's been non-existent, I would say, recently, right? Obviously, we saw him get 3rd place with Ko, but outside of that, I think Aerodactyl has just been struggling to find his footing in this metagame. But on this team, he's here. This seems like a regulation. Yeah, this looks like a regulation MA team. I swear I've seen this one before, but I think it's just kind of like a hyper offense tailwind team, or tailwind team, not room, tailwind. I don't know what the Aerodactyl's doing. That's the biggest question mark, right? Like I see Talonflame. This guy might not even have an item, right? And it's just acrobatic spam, tailwind. You have a Light of Ruin Floette that is able to do tons of damage. Presumably an offensive item on Basculegion, but it could be Sash as well. But I would guess that the Sash would be on Sneasler to help either sweep with Talonflame or just put tons of pressure on. I could also see this being Calm Mind Floette paired with the Sneasler, so you Calm Mind and then set up Tailwind in the late game. Not really sure. And then King Gambit's kind of there because you just kind of need a Steel type, and he's not the greatest Tailwind abuser, like at all, but he does tend to fit Tailwind teams because he's very good into Trick Room on the reverse, and then he also just kind of has priority, so he functions enough in Tailwind. They also could be running a lot of speed and like even Sash King Gambit, so that in Tailwind he's able to do a lot of damage and play a little bit more freely. So it's hard to say. I really couldn't tell you what Aerodactyl's doing though. Then we have kind of a weird take, I guess. This is like Big Six, but it's like old, like before Big Six became Big Six. It was like that Glamora Wims team. But instead of King Gambit, they have a Staraptor, which is kind of interesting. Charizard Whimsicott is obviously very, very good. I also think Wims Glamora is just oddly positioned in a really, really good spot right now. I just really like Glamora. I think Glamora is just really hard to take out, really obnoxious. Very good into enemy Charizard teams, and it just puts pressure on the Zard, right? You can just lead it freely, you can set up those toxic spikes and go nuts. And what I like about this team too is like when you set up Tailwind, you both enable Charizard and Staraptor, so you have this other second Mega that can also be annoying paired with the Whimsicott. And who knows, this Whimsicott might also have something like Tickle or Charm to help enable Staraptor further. It just adds another element to team preview. Garchomp is obviously going to be Life Orb. He wants to just Earthquake next to his boys, and then Basculegion, since the Life Orb was taken, is going to go Mystic Water for his damage. Really the big question of this team is what moveset is the Whimsicott. If it is just Tailwind, Encore, Moonblast, Protect, then there's nothing too crazy on this team, and they're probably just running standard sets. I would imagine Staraptor is Roost though, just because you can get to run Roost. You don't need Tailwind because you have this guy. But very nice team. I like that one. I like Big Six with Staraptor. I think it's pretty strong. And then we have a kind of similar to the team I was talking about earlier, but this one plays 37th. This one does not have a code either. Again, we're getting closer to Worlds, so a lot of these teams, these players are not going to share their sauce and just give it away so freely. But this team is kind of neat, like what I was talking about, where it's like a Calm Mind Floette team with Tailwind, because the idea is that you lead like Incin Floette, fake out Calm Mind, and then you're like, hey, their defenses are dropped, my special defense is raised, it's time to sweep. but I don't have enough speed. And then you say, oh, I got you. Parting Shot, bring in Talonflame, Tailwind, Dazzling Gleam, right? And you just start doing insane damage. And then in the Tailwind, you also do have something like this Sash Basculegion that in the late game can clean up with Last Respects or Liquidation. Scarf Garchomp as well is just good. It just gives you a ceiling that you don't normally have access to. It's just good. People just like Scarf Garchomp for some reason. I don't know. I'm personally not the biggest fan of Scarf Chomp. I think it's good, but I personally am not like always trying to run it on my teams. But this just seems like a preference here. The Passion Berry on Talonflame is pretty fucking crazy. Don't fully know what's going on there, but yeah, it can take those water hits, right? And then you also do have Incin and you have Sinistra, so you are able to again enable that Floette. They're just kind of there for that. Floette also, or Sinistra also, it just has Rage Powder. It's just good for the team. I think it's just a pretty solid mon. And then next up we have Johnny Chew. Johnny Chew finished 41st. Johnny Chew is a hard Trick Room connoisseur. No surprise to see hard Trick Room here. What is kind of surprising is to see Hatterene. I don't think we're seeing Hatterene like at all. Hatterene I think is a pretty strong mon, but we're just kind of not seeing it in the metagame too much anymore. It was a little bit more popular on this type of team in Regulation MA, but yeah, Johnny's just sticking to it. I think the only difference is it used to be a King Gambit and now is a Kangaskhan. So the idea here is pretty simple. We also have the code if you want to try it out, but you do just lead Fake Out plus Trick Room. You have a double Fake Out as well. Charizard, or not Charizard, Incin can function with the Fergraph to put pressure on the enemy to set up Trick Room more consistently. It also is White Herb, so that if you get intimidated by any enemy Incineroars, it blocks that Intimidate once. It's kind of like the Clear Amulet Incin that we were running back in Scarlet and Violet, but we don't have Clear Amulet in this game, so we're running White Herb. It has Close Combat, so it's able to do a lot of damage to enemy Incineroars, just Pokemon weak to fighting types, Archaludon, T-Tar. The fighting coverage is just great. It just doesn't have Parting Shot to keep the momentum going. You could also lead Fake Out plus the Hatterene as well. That's another option. You have Torkoal to sweep in Trick Room, and then you have two mega options, one to either help you set up Trick Room or one to sweep in Trick Room. It's probably quiet, 0 speed Charizard to do as much damage as possible. Johnny is just a hard Trick Room connoisseur, so it makes sense. Then we have a Vivillon team. This team looks actually evil. I swear I played this one. In my did they post their paste of it? Oh, they did. Cool. I swear I played this one in one of my YouTube videos. I think I did, but I'm not fully sure. Not fully sure. It's coming to me though, like I did, dude. Because I remember it was in the Abomasnow video. I said, yo, this is a snow mirror. But anyways, we have Vivillon with Tailwind, Hurricane, no Sleep Powder. What is that grass move? I'm gonna have to look this up, aren't I? I'm gonna have to look it up really quick. Let me pull this up in game. Let's take a full dive. All right, so it is just Tailwind, Hurricane, Sleep Powder here from the Vivillon, which I think makes sense. I forgot Sleep Powder was a grass move for some reason. I thought my mind was playing tricks on me. I thought it was Bug. I thought that move was crazy, but it is just Sleep Powder, which you expect. Sneaser's going to be Rock Slide, Fake Out, which is just demon moves. We have Zap Cannon, Focus Plus, Encore on the Raichu as well. Psychic, T-Volt, Trick Room, Protect on Fergraph, Life Orb, King Gambit with 3 attacks, fighting coverage, and then Ice Shard, Freeze Ray, Blizzard, Vanillix. It is just a Trick Room Vanillix as well. Sneaser's max speed. So yeah, it's just kind of a weird blend of like Trick Room and not Trick Room, but I do kind of like it. It's nothing too crazy though. But again, like I think for Rigoraph is just such a demon in the closed sheet environment. It's so scary to deal with, and I think having this Tail Room mode just seems really crazy to deal with, right? Like Sneasel Vivillon is such a scary lead, and then you do have this Mega Raichu that can just come in and start nuking stuff, and then Encore is just not something you would necessarily expect. I totally played this guy in game. I know I did. But yeah, so we got that team, and then next up, oh, they just limited their posts while I was making this video. Okay, don't know who that was. Don't know what that was, but okay. At number 52, we do have TTT BGC. They've been playing this like a Spothra stuff the entire time. This is definitely a slightly different version. There is a Charizard now, and there's also a Venusaur. But the idea here is that a Spothra can just pass its boosts to something like Archaludon, and then you just sweep the game, right? You lead something like Scovillain plus a Spothra, you press Calm Mind, you press Baton Pass because of the Calm Mind and the speed boosts. Now Archaludon becomes just a unkillable demon, right? But then there is a second mode here that you get to pair with Charizard and a Spothra, which is kind of neat, is that a Spothra actually, its signature move, Lumina Crash, which you do run, allows it so that you lower the special defense of the target by 2. It's a psychic move, base 80. You hit them with it, their special defense drops by 2. Now Charizard can blow you up. So I think it's a very cool little combo that you can pull off as well with the Sun mode. And then you also have to respect both the Sun mode and the potential Espathra setup mode. So just a demon team. And then next up we have Pizza Memes with a pretty crazy, they did share their code, pretty crazy Blaziken Farigiraf team. We have Blaziken and Mega Venusaur, not a combo we see a lot of, and also Light Clay Aurora Veil Ninetales. That's something that we're not seeing a ton of as well in this meta. We have Farigiraf, who gives you a Trick Room mode, but at the same time also helps enable Blaziken just by spamming Helping Hand next to it. I think Blaziken is also weak to stuff like Fake Out, so pairing Farigiraf Blaziken just as a lead or a switch-in seems really potent, especially with the Helping Hand tech. Trick Room is obviously going to be good for both King Gambit and Venusaur, and Basculegion to a degree. Ninetales can make the team very, very bulky. King Gambit's got a little bit of speed. Basculegion has none. It is full bulk Basculegion. And then it's just full power, both Blaziken and Venusaur. And then it's going to be max defense for Farigiraf, like super bold. So very cool team. I think Venusaur is specifically well positioned. I think it seems pretty decent into especially enemy Venusaurs, but also just in the stuff like Archaludon, King Gambit, Floette, Whimsicott. There's a lot of like rogue Pokemon that the coverage of grass, poison, and ground just covers perfectly. But yeah, I think this team is very neat. I think Blaziken is in a really good spot, and I'm going to stand by it, dude. I think Blaziken is top cutting worlds. I think the Pokemon is strong enough to do it. And I think some rogue trainer is going to show up with Blaziken and just pop off. Who knows? Maybe it'll be Pizza Memes. And then in 59th place, we just have... okay, it's just like Big Six, but with Farigiraf. That's so weird. Okay, sure. So it's just like the standard Charizard, standard Floette, standard everything, really, with Ironhead, King Gambit, but then just throwing in Farigiraf. And now you're wondering, you're like, why would Farigiraf be there? Why not just run Floette? And I think, like, well, it looks like it probably has Imprison. Oh no, it probably just has Trick Room and Psychic or Twin Beam or whatever. But at the same time, just having a Trick Room mode for both Basculegion and King Gambit is pretty potent. I think it's just really, really good in the mirror. I also think having Charizard in Trick Room, it's so stupid, but I think he is one of the best Trick Room sweepers. He's slow enough to abuse Trick Room, especially if the other team has a lot of speed on their Charizard or they're setting up Tailwind. So I think having Charizard and Trick Room is just very potent as well. It kind of gives you this Tail Room threat that you just have to respect and figure out. And then in 64th place, okay, this team is crazy, man. This team is crazy. I like didn't know if this was doubles, but I think it is. I think it's definitely doubles. Okay, we're gonna have to do a deep dive. I'm gonna have to pull this one up in game to see this thing, because this thing is crazy. What the hell? So we have Mortal Spin Glamora paired with Slack Off Hippodown and Roosteraptor. Okay, I'm starting to see the vibes here. I'm starting to see the vibes of this team. It's kind of a lot about poison stalling. It's like doubles poison stalling, right? Staraptor is obviously the mega of choice because it can become as bulky as possible with those close combats, with those roosts. It's hard to take out. So you pair that with the Glamora, so you're spamming Mortal Spin, and then you're able to roost it off, chill off. But then you also have a Slack Off Hippodown who's also adding sand damage to the enemy team, and he becomes unkillable with Citrus Berry and Slack Off. Golden goes here with Focus Blast for some fucking reason. He's also got Substitute to stall everything longer. He has lefties. This is just a stall doubles team. This is nuts. Phantom Force with Mimikyu with the Life Orb to do tons of damage, but also stall further with Phantom Force and then Tyrantrum. For whatever reason, he's here. I guess you just say, hey, I don't know what this guy's gonna do. Is he a nuclear bomb? Is he weak? What's going on? He's got the fangs for the strong draw and high horsepower. Sure, man. Sure. That's so nuts. I guess he's good in Zard. This team is crazy. This team is diabolical. What a beautiful team, man. Hippodown in doubles. Sure, yeah. It is just like a toxic stall team. Glamora is probably essential to most of the game plans, and I bet you no one knew what was going on. If I saw this team in game, I would freak out. I wouldn't know what's gonna hit me. Just absolutely crazy team. And wow, Hippodown, top of the ladder, dude. top of the doubles ladder. Yeah, but they gave us a code if you want to test it out. This team is absolutely nuts. But congrats to them. Wow. And then we have 65th place, which is just, did they write an article? Are we allowed to see it? Okay, cool. So it's just going to be a Mega Aerodactyl, Mega Floette team with Wise Glasses Como, and then Pasha Berry and Incineroar. That's fun. Miracle Seed? Oh my god. It's Miracle Seed Trick Room. We have Fake Out to enable Como. We have Fake Out to enable this guy. We have a random Scizor with really good coverage, right? Like being able to kill King Gambit with CC, knock off for stuff like Basket Legion, Bullet Punch because that's the coverage you need. All attacks on this guy to help both Como enabled, and also I guess you could help set up that guy. Wow. Mega Arrow's back in a big way. That's nuts. But yeah, Como's got the Wise Glasses, but I guess why not Leftovers? Because I imagine it's Klingorious Soul, and you're just setting him up, but sure, dude. Sure. I like the Scizor. Like, I do like the Scizor because I think in a closed team shoot environment, you're just not seeing this coming, dude. Like, I know. Well, if I had King Gambit in front of him, I would be afraid of close combat. Like, let's be so for real. He does run close combat. He can. But still, to see knockoff as well, I like that. That's a nice touch. The Miracle Seed is just absolutely bonkers to me. That's nuts. And then Incin just being pretty standard Incin to both enable Como and Delphox makes sense. It's kind of neat. I like the Delphox Como combo. I think Como is very good, especially because just pairing it with Delphox means that Delphox can deal with those pesky fairies, which is the most annoying part. But I think Como is just in a good spot right now. But yeah, cool team. Then we have Frostlass. Oh, we have the Lycanroc team. The Lycanroc team just never dies, man. This team is just always good. Will always be good. Yeah, dude, it might just top cut worlds, man. At this point, the Americans are super into it. I could see it, dude. But also, apparently, so is this Japanese player. Also is using it to get 66th on ladder. Then we got a Mawile team. Whoa, this team looks crazy. So we have Mawile with normal stabs paired with Grass Move Farigiraf. Probably Energy Ball or Grass Knot, if I had to guess, to deal with stuff like Swampert. We have 3 attack. Is that Fake Out? I bet you that's Fake Out on Blastoise. So you're able to either set Trick Room or help set up Tailwind. This is just like a really fair Blastoise team. This is like, hey, I'm not Shell Smashing. We're going to be chill about this. I'm just going to press Water Spout and Tailwind. And you have to respect me. You have to respect what I'm going to do. So I think that's kind of neat. Obviously, we have a ton of spread moves in Tailwind. And then in Trick Room, we have a Demon Trick Room mode. With Mawile, Farigiraf, and Sylveon. So it's kind of a Tail Room team, but just not the way you'd expect it. The Blastoise is also just kind of funny. I like that kind of Blastoise, though. I think just Water Spout Blastoise seems good on the Champions Ladder. And then we have 68th place here with a code. It's going to be Big 6, but with a Mousehold. I'm not going to lie, I think the Mousehold is given away that it's Pop Bomb Mousehold, but I don't think that matters, right? I think Mousehold does a ton of damage in Tailwind. I think he's a demon. I think Mousehold is, I'm not going to say he's slept on. I think he's like solid, but I think in some Tailwind teams, like he just kills everything, right? He has his problems. He can't touch ghosts, which sucks. There's a lot of ghosts in the format. Garchomp like one-shots him with Rough Skin, but at the same time, if you're just hitting Floette or Charizard, you outspeed them and you one-shot them with Population Bomb. So I really like the look of this guy's team. It's a pretty standard team, but throwing the Mousehold on there is actually pretty fire. I'm a big fan. And then we have 73rd place with, did they put 2 teams? Oh, they did. We have standard Big 6. I'm not even going to talk about that one. And then we have Mega Scolipede. What? Mega Scolipede with Mega Delphox. We have Swords Dance Scolipede paired with Incin. So it makes sense, right? You just have Incin, Cinny, Sneasler that can either enable Scolipede with coaching, or I mean, it might be Quick Guard, but you can either enable Scolipede or you enable Delphox, and then you just heal it, keep it alive forever, and you just sweep the game with either Scolipede or Delphox. That's so funny. And then Life Orb King Gambit as well can also be the option that you sweep it with. I think if you're going to use Mega Scolipede, this is probably how you'd use it. It seems like it could be very flexible on this type of team, especially with the double Mega like positioning here. It seems like it's something you could pull off. And then we have a hard Trick Room team here. Whoa, we got a lot of stats going on here. Do we have to pay for it? I bet we have to pay for it. But we have a hard Trick Room here with Golurk. So, I mean, like, nothing too crazy. We have double Fake Out guys to help set up Trick Room. Golurk is going to be our single mega of choice, which is wild, but it is just a hard Trick Room team, right? Like, Fake Out, Trick Room, Sweep of Sylveon, Torkoal, or Golurk. Very simple stuff. And then we do have 78th, just showed us that they were 78th. We have Big Six once again, Life Orb Bask. It seems like, because like every time I do one of these, I think it's interesting to see which variant of Big Six is the most popular, because as time goes on you see people relying on different items, or the items change, but they're very small changes, but they're very telling to the meta, and also like what you need to be prepared for if you fight Big Six. Citrus Chomp again. Last time it was all Life Orb Chomp, the last time we did this. Now it's Citrus Chomp, Life Orb Bask, Chople, King Gambit, just to keep in mind. Okay, this team's crazy. We got Sylveon and Floette. We have Tailwind, Aerodactyl, King Gambit, Bask, and Charizard. It's like so normal, but at the same time so crazy, right? Like, because normally, like, if it's just like, hey dude, it's just Aerodactyl over Whims, you're like, okay, who cares? But the fact that it's no Garchomp and you're running Aerodactyl, no Whimsicott and you're running Aerodactyl and Sylveon, like, it's kind of cool. It's kind of fire, especially because like low-key Sylveon plus Floette, it's kind of stupid, but at the same time, imagine the damage, right? Like Gleam Hyper Voice, what's taking that? There already aren't a lot of options for resist into Fairy, and you have a really, really good Garchomp killer in this Aerodactyl. It's kind of spicy, kind of a spicy team. We don't know too much about it, but I imagine this guy set up Tailwind. They're spamming Hyper Voices, or they're just spamming Heat Waves. I like the Sylveon Float's cool. Sylveon Floette's cool. And then we have Arubega. For those who do not know, Arubega is a demon and a fantastic player, a very influential player in the metagame. And they're running something kind of weird. It's just Big Six, but with Dragonite? That's super bizarre. No Floette, and instead we also have Sash Basculegion and Citrus Berry Whimsicott. Very cool. Nothing super crazy. But I mean, like, at the same time, like, Citrus Berry Whimsicott is pretty wild, and it's just not something you'd expect, especially with the Sash Basculegion. I imagine the Dragonite is all built around coverage. King Gambit also built around coverage with the Chople Berry. Chople Berry just seems like the move, and then a fast Life Orb. Also, I noticed I missed this one. I didn't talk about Spy Anya's team. I'm going to just do that one right now. Spy Anya is one of my favorite players. I totally skipped over it, and I remember seeing it, but I didn't put it in my list. So let's talk about it right now. 33rd Spy Anya. We have Mega Charizard, Life Orb Venusaur, Mega Raichu, Scarf Garchomp, Sylveon, and Incineroar. So this is usually a Toxapex team, except they just replaced Toxapex with Raichu. Like, it's Life Orb Venusaur, Scarf Garchomp, the Venusaur has no Sleep Powder, it's Solar Beam or Leaf Storm, Helping Hand Zard, and then just a Raichu instead, which, I mean, in the mirror would help against the Toxapex. So very cool team from Spy Anya. In 90th place, we have the standard Excadrill Staraptor Sand team. It's just very good at this point. The Mega Tyranitar, this is a team you just need to be prepared for. I'm sure you've all played it. I made a video on it. I made a guide breaking down how to use it. But yeah, it's just a really good team. Staraptor pairs really well with Sand. Golden Go also pairs well. It's just a really good Golden Go team as well. And then Milotic is just a really good natural Intimidate deterror, and also just kind of fits the pacing and the bulk of the team. It's a very good pivot. Specifically in a Big Six, it can be pretty valuable as well. So nothing too crazy there on the Sand team. And then in 92nd place, we have it's like a Floette balance, but also like it's like the team that Arsenal won the first regional with, but instead of Venusaur there's a Sneasler, so you're giving yourself even more fake out power to enable Floette. So you have the super Floette mode, you have a super Zard mode, it is Charizard Y, but you also have a little bit more offense with the Charizard Garchomp mode as well. So you kind of can say, hey, I want to play aggressive this game with Charizard Garchomp, or I just want to set things up. And then in 95th place we have just the pretty standard flow. Oh no, this is just the same team. Wow, it's actually perfect. It goes full circle. This is just the first place team. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. We got a lot of teams. It was kind of like Christmas. I was very excited for these teams this morning. I'm not gonna lie. I was super excited to wake up and check out these teams. So let me know what you guys think down below. What teams are you most interested in trying, and what teams would you like to see me feature on the channel? Obviously, rank 1 team we're gonna slam tomorrow, obviously, and dare I say, there is one team that the Hippodown team, we gotta feature that thing. I don't even think it's on here, but the Hippodown team we gotta feature, and that is one I'm very excited to show off. So let me know what you guys think of the teams, and I'll see you next time.